where things almost make sense and most everything is interesting and mildly unique. It's a place that feels somewhat familiar and has the suspicious comfort of a loving semi-omnipresence. You are on the outskirts of Loutopia. Sit back and relax, or tense up and march around. Please welcome your host of Loutopia, Lou Angel Wolf.
Coming right at you, baby. It's Lou Angel Wolf, and welcome to Loutopia. Good to be here in the fabulous Double Special Studios in sparkling Clearwater, Florida. Ladies and gentlemen, we've got a big show lined up for you, and this one's extra special. Yeah. There's the beat that keeps things going. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the show. This is our first live broadcast on the YouTube. Now, this is actually show number 105, and we're trying a little different format, and we're going live so you can see us. Hi, I'm Lou Angel Wolf. This is the man waving. Next to me, my co-host, Michael Merberg.
Hey, Lou.
Hey, buddy.
It's good to be live, finally.
Yeah. And over there on mic number 3, who forgot his hat, it's Chris Gorgeous.
What up?
And this is the Loutopia podcast. It's about health, humor, and well-being. For those of you who were listening when we were just a static picture, thank you. We love that. And but now we've added the video advantage. Now, the second half of the show, we have another one of our gang here, our tribe. Actually, we're the tribesmen and tribeswomen. Second half is Beth Snyder. Beth is a hypnotherapist in Sarasota, Florida, and my personal hypnotherapist, and a very, very deep chick, and the actual owner-operator of the Ohm Shop in South Sarasota, down there on Tamiami Trail. Well, ladies and gentlemen, this show is about health, humor, and well-being. Every week we pick a topic, and we've picked about, 105 topics before this show. But we wanted to add the video end of it, and we welcome you. And soon, I don't know about today, but I think soon we're going to make it so you can call in and share. We're going to do 2 half-hour segments, and, we're just going to let it rip. And I'd like to thank everybody that's been with us all along. Of course, Double Special Studios giving us, all the magic room that we can handle. And the IRN Broadcast Network, that's irnbroadcast.com. That's Mike Peter featuring some really, really great entertainment here in the Tampa Bay area. That's irnbroadcast.com. And Michael, who co-hosts the show every week with me. Actually, we're kind of rooted by a deep friendship that we both had, a deceased comic named Steve Baird, and his ghost lingers on today. He's been on this show or some of my other shows long before this. And Steve was a friend of yours. Steve passed away. You and I became very close friends, and now here I get to see you every week.
Yeah, that's pretty cool, I mean, one of the funniest memories I have in comedy is you speaking at Steve's roast. For those that don't know it, instead of just burying the guy, we roasted him. So, posthumous roasting.
He caught a beating all the way to the hole, man.
He did, but I still think it was the funniest thing I had ever seen where, Larry gives this really awful eulogy about all the problems that Steve Baird ever had in his entire life.
Right.
And then you get up on stage and you go, yeah, I know what you're all thinking. Why Steve and why not Larry?
Yeah, I mean, Baird was, those who knew him, a very, very funny stand-up. Actually, you can look at the Steve Baird tribute page. There's some of his comedy up there. Great guy. And he's like our guiding spirit of the Loutopia podcast. But Michael, during the day, is a disability attorney, and a darn good one. His website is disabilityattorney.net. And he helps people get their I help the disabled get their benefits and get your benefits,
get along in life. And
helping the disabled, man. That takes extra special patience, man.
It's tough.
Really, I mean, because really, if you think about that, the amount of time and effort that you put into that, and we get frustrated by, some old dude, sorting slowly through his cart at Publix,
Yeah, it's tough if you're an empath too.
God, yeah, sure. You just that pain just seeps out of them.
One of the things that Steve also had in common with us, Steve was also an experiencer.
Yes, yes.
Early on in life, he saw his first UFO come out from behind a drive-in movie theater screen.
Yes.
He had other things too. So, that kind of too, that is also common ground. Yeah, that binds us,
Yeah, it really was amazing. And on the Loutopia podcast, we talk about health, humor, and well-being. We all have some bond to stand-up comedy. Chris, of course, is a touring stand-up out of Florida here. Beth, who the hypnotherapist, was a stand-up comic, but a very, very funny speaker, but just not doing it in the stand-up format anymore. And I'm into my 34th year as a professional stand-up comedian. I love doing this podcast, and I like to think I'm doing a little piece of good here and there, and mostly, and whether this is the vanity of it or I don't know, but I'm mostly doing this to make an audio record for my son Isaac, who just turned 18, and I couldn't be more proud of him. He's a really, really good guy, but I want him to know what the old man was thinking, even if maybe 20 years from now, if he's curious.
Well, he's been a great co-host as well. He's been on the show.
He's very good. Been on the show a couple times.
Great perspective.
Yeah, and the nice young guy just spent 5 weeks in Israel, and he's kind of different. He's a little more grown up than the kid we put on the plane. So anyway, enough of my yakking. Ladies and gentlemen, this week our show it's kind of this is another pillar of what we speak about is the Four Agreements. It's a fantastic book by Don Miguel Ruiz, and it really, really has changed my life. I mean, it is simple and strong and non-condemning, but it creates this kind of like inner mirror that I really don't know how to duplicate or it's just an amazing story. And the Four Agreements are, I don't know if you've ever experienced them, but we love them here. And they're these wonderful short agreements that you can make with yourself and the universe. And I'll just run through them real quick, and then I'll go into a little more depth about what we got. There they are up on the screen. Thank you, Chris. The first agreement: be impeccable with your word. That alone is a huge effort. Always watching what you say and meaning what you say and speaking as much truth as possible. Number 2, the second agreement: don't take anything personally. This has been the biggest thing that's helped me, because when people used to say stuff about me or criticize me or slander me, it used to knot me all up inside, and I'd feel bad about myself. And then I said, you know what? What they have to say really doesn't matter much. It's just an opinion, and I've got a different one.
Yeah, and what they have to think doesn't really matter either unless you make it that way.
Exactly. What you allow will continue. So if someone's torturing you about your personality, you don't have to receive that anymore. You can totally put up this major deflector shield and start living in your own head. Don't worry about what other people think of you, because, it's only a percentage as important as you think it is. I mean, it's very, very minuscule of its importance.
Yeah, it's like Bill Gates, Here's a kid, he's going to Harvard, and all of a sudden he says, hey, I like this whole idea about computer. I'm going to drop out of Harvard and start a business in a garage. I mean, It's like, you idiot. But hey, guess what? He was doing his own thing, and he finds his way in life, and that's what we all should be doing.
Sure. And I welcome my critics. Please, I mean, I learn from you often, so feel free. Believe me, I'm not going to take it personally. You talk about my mother, I'll take you out back, but I'm not going to take it personally. Number 3, the third agreement: don't make assumptions. Making assumptions is a waste of time. I can't think of more things that I've ill projected in my life by making an assumption. I ruined some perfectly good scenarios by my assumptions.
And along with that is, expectations as well.
Yes.
They're kind of assumptions, but, your expectations will always foil you.
Yeah.
And when it's never what you picture it's going to be in your head. So if you're expecting what you're thinking, it ain't going to happen.
I'll tell you, that's one of the reasons relationships take a dump these days, because they're not, once the Hallmark cards and the, sharing desserts and all that stuff phase, chills out, people go, wait a minute, this is just regular life.
Right.
This isn't the, sunbeams and lollipops I was hoping for.
Well, James Cagney had a great line. He and his wife were married 58 years at the time that either he or she had died. It was one of the longest standing Hollywood marriages ever.
Wow.
Especially in a time where Hollywood marriages, were a dime a dozen.
Sure.
And they asked him, it's like, what do you attribute this long marriage to? And he says, it's really, really simple. I expected absolutely nothing out of her, and every day I got surprised.
Wow. That's beautiful, man. That's very deep, too.
Well, it's kind of like your dad with the notes to your mom.
Yes.
That's heroic.
Yeah, it is. It is. It is. You're exactly right. And the fourth agreement, always do your best. Now, this sounds like a Sergeant Carter call to arms. But you know what it is? It is a way for you to set a level. If every day you leave the house and you do try your best at what it is you set out to do, then you never have to double think about what it was you did. You tried as hard as you could that day. And, circumstances won't always let you win. Circumstances won't always let you succeed or move forward. But as long as in your heart, I gave this a valid effort or a valiant effort.
Or both.
Or both. And then you're going to be okay inside yourself, and you're not going to torture yourself.
Right.
I owe so much to the author of this book, who's a fellow named Don Miguel Ruiz, who's an older guy these days. And for our 100th Loutopia podcast, we had Don Jose Ruiz on the air, which was his son, and he wrote the fifth agreement, which is be skeptical, but keep an open mind.
Right. Well, getting back to doing your best, there's an old Vince Lombardi speech that he used to give, and he would say, it's a sin against God if you don't do your best. And when you take it right down to it, it is. You're not bringing to yourself to the highest level. So.
Yep, exactly. And ladies and gentlemen, all this, mindset adjustment, this detail shop for your attitude, whatever you've stumbled upon here with the Loutopia. Loutopia.com is our website, and in that website you'll find links to listen to the show, old shows, new shows, and now with our YouTube audience. But the core of the show, or actually kind of our mellow festo, is a piece that I wrote a couple of years ago called The Pacifist Riot. And The Pacifist Riot is right there on the Loutopia.com. That's Loutopia, Loutopia.com. And what it is a poem that I wrote, and Michael edited it. And I enjoy your edit. Your edit was awesome. And what it is, it's kind of letting you know that, hey, we're all part of the same thing, from the atomic level on up. In fact, we were talking about that before the camera came on. We've been doing this show kind of like in the dark, and, and now we're actually being seen. So Michael said, I wonder if the presence of the camera is going to change the show.
Well, yeah, actually, the presence of other live beings actually changes the trajectory of atoms and light in a vacuum.
Yes.
So the fact that there are other people out here, we're assuming that there's somebody out here right now. Maybe that's going to change the experience. But seeing that there are other people out here, it's going to change the nature of the show at the quantum level.
Exactly right. Well, there is that scientific experiment where atoms, they watched them travel a path, but when there was just one other atom in like an observation point, it changed their whole thing.
Right, and there was the PAIR project, which did essentially the same with machinery, showing that the presence of a human being changes the statistical outcome of the machinery, the statistical machinery production.
Really?
So it would change. Yes, it changed permutations when they weren't supposed to, and change numbers.
Did the machines become more or less productive?
They became more predictable.
Everybody's showing off for the boss. Well, ladies and gentlemen, you can read the Pacifist Riot there on Loutopia.com. Please feel free to read it, share it, copy it, paste it, do whatever you like with it. It's an important document as far as I can tell, folks. I've had a lot of wonderful responses from it, and most of all, it brought me my beautiful Pamela. I met an old friend online, kind of reunited online, and to make a long story not so long, she read that and kind of went, wow, that's pretty good. And we got back in touch with each other, and now she's my girl.
Yeah, there you go.
You never know the power of the words. The power of the words, ladies and gentlemen.
Cast your bread on the water,
Yes.
And as long as it's the bread you make yourself, I mean, cast somebody else's bread out there, you might just get ducks.
Did want to say this to the viewers. If you're watching on YouTube, the chat's there. Feel free to throw in a chat. I'll try to check it out. And we do have a Skype line you can call in. I can throw the number if you want, or we can wait till after 2 weeks because I'll be out of town.
Yeah, let's do this one.
All right, cool.
Let's be selfish on this one, but we do have a Skype line set up for the show, and we're really looking forward to interacting with the audience, and because we cover some really, really fun topics and some pretty deep topics at times. We've had some beautiful movement of the spirit here in the showroom the showroom from time to time. And
Can we ask that question real quick for anybody that's viewing?
what's that?
The picture question. I got both pictures.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. This is our first show.
Okay. Live show. First
live show. This is show number 105, but it's still our first live YouTube thing.
Yeah.
So, Michael, no, Chris,
Yes.
is the board op, and he's doing all the pictures and stuff like that.
I'm the dude behind the curtain.
He is. He's the wizard.
Yep.
And this is the picture. Like when it cuts to a static picture of me, this is the picture that he chose.
That's Lou number one.
That's Lou number one.
This is the Vegas style, cool Lou in the club with the dude. You got a Lucy painting behind you. I mean, come on.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Well, yeah. Actually, that was in the old Punchline in Atlanta.
See, wonderful.
So,
all right.
Yeah.
So that's the one I wanted to put when it says your host Lou Angel. If I like to throw this up in the beginning and then cut to the live studio.
But
shot.
I think what it is, I got one tooth kind of hanging out, which looks weird.
I don't see that.
I see it.
So here's the Lou said,
And this
look,
is the one that I like, which is my Facebook page.
yeah, Lou's like, I got the picture, and I'm like, okay, and bam,
There you go.
That's the picture.
That's Lubio.
All your teeth are hanging out of that one.
Yeah, and I got okay teeth for never having braces. You know?
And you're in front of some sort of a palm frond or something.
That's out in the garden at my mom's house, and my hair's blowing. It's freshly washed.
So what we're asking is, Lou, are you willing to let your fans pick the
Sure,
one they want?
let them pick it.
Okay, so
Let
get
them
on
pick
his Facebook page, get on the YouTube page, leave comments for this video.
Okay, this is
once it
picture
posts.
number 2.
That's picture number 2. Or you can go with number 1, my favorite, the Vegas picture. So, okay, yeah, so that's one, and the other one is...
Same guy.
Different haircut.
Same haircut, just different pullback or whatever. Yeah.
That's great.
Okay, well, cool. Well, thank you, Chris.
Yeah.
Well, on the Loutopia podcast, we've had such really beautiful experiences. We've had Costa Macraeus on. Costa is probably one of the foremost UFO experts.
We know.
Yeah, we know,
You know,
absolutely.
yeah, this
but
side
he's
of-
like ranked.
Yeah, this side of Dr. Gray. He's been on History Channel and a bunch of other shows, and on actually Dr. Greer's movie, the first one.
Yeah,
that
he's
came out,
he's
so-
interviewed in that. What's the first one called? Secession. Inception?
Now that you ask me, I have to forget it.
Yeah.
But,
Okay.
But yeah, Costa's around. Actually, they're having a big CE5 in September. They just got done with Shasta. They're having a CE5 out in
Bloomington, Indiana.
Bloomington, Indiana. That's right. And then they've got at Joshua Tree in California in October 15th through the 20th. So
Okay.
people are interested in that can get me at mmerberg at disabilityattorney.net, and I'll send you all that information. I may be able to make it out there. I'm not quite sure yet.
Yeah. Now, if for those of you who don't know what CE5 is, that is Close Encounters of the Fifth Kind, and that's you explain to it.
Yeah, CE5 is human initiated contact, and I've been doing it for a few years now, and I've been teaching it along with Dow. And we had a matter of fact a good CE5 meeting this past weekend up at Darby Ranch, and saw a fast walker, and we saw another craft that stopped and long enough to signal to us and actually answer our questions with signals.
It's beautiful because I really do believe that this is a time in our life where we're going to have contact. To me, there's no question that there's other beings on this earth other than us.
Well, I brought you up there, and we had contact.
Absolutely, it's so phenomenal. And here's the thing with me, and this is one of the things that really tied Michael and I together. I had a in utero connection, which that would have been what, a CE3,
CE 2.5, I don't know, something.
CE2 in 9 months.
Yeah.
When my mother was carrying me in her tummy, she went out to the well with her mother. This is in upstate New York, and she had a big pail and a teapot or a coffee pot, and she was filling them up with water from the well. And then there was a flying disc that came over, checked us all out, and my mom, in her sense of humor, raises up the coffee pot and says, "Hey, fellas, you want a cup? I'll put on a pot." So she greets the aliens with humor, and
this is what,
I'm the outcome of it. I've been a quarter bubble off my whole life, I swear. So I really, I'm very, very thankful for that, my mother being open to that intervention, because I got to tell you, throughout my whole life, I've never really felt completely at home here. This has been, I've enjoyed my Earth stay. But I know that I know that there's something else. There's way more than this maze that we're running through.
Yeah, like procreating with Earthlings was cool, but there's got to be more to life than just that.
Yeah, there is. But I'll also say, the spirits are very, very envious of us. Those of us that have this body and we can experience, physical life, not just spiritual life. They're very, very. The angels are envious of us, and I think a lot of it is the sex. The fact that we can have the sex and make the babies.
Yeah, that's the dark side of the whole telepathic realm of the ETs.
Is it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They like it when we do it.
They like it when we do it?
Yeah.
They like to watch?
They can read your mind. They know what's going on.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, it's pretty spooky.
Hope that don't get published. But anyway. Well, ladies and gentlemen, like I said, we're covering the 4 agreements today. And in the second half, we're going to get a little more in depth with them. With Beth Snyder. Beth Snyder, like I said, my personal hypnotherapist, and you can find her at BethSnyderHypnosis.com. And we all wholeheartedly agree about the 4 agreements. And if you take them to heart, and if you really let them work in your life, you'll see a change. You'll see a huge change. But here's if you can't get to the 4 agreements, okay, say you're too busy, do this one thing, this one simple exercise, and I try to do this a couple of times a month. Spend a whole day without complaining. Refrain from all complaints for one whole day. And then if it works, try it a second day. And I'm telling you, by the 3rd day, you'll be checking your language. You'll be checking your mindset. You'll be checking your attitude, and all in a positive way. When you stop letting yourself hear yourself bitch and moan about, hey, some people got a right to do some bitching and moaning. There's some terrible scenarios out there. And everybody, man, if you're having a pity party, I'll bring the cookies. But there's a time where it has to end. And if everything is, kind of neutral and you're trying to power yourself out, this 4 agreements is excellent. But also start with something very simple. Stop complaining for a whole day, then 2, then 3, and I'm telling you, you will see a difference in your life.
Yeah, eventually you'll be counting your blessings.
Yes, exactly. It flips like the 72-hour. There's 3 is a magic number, so when you get that 3 days in there, and you say, I haven't complained about anything in 3 days. A monumental task for some people. Other people, like tying up their shoes. No big deal. A lot of positive attitudes, and I really am I'm very blessed to be around all these attitudes here. You guys, everybody's going through their own personal struggles, but yet we always keep the good foot forward. We try to know and realize that there is way more positivity in the world than negativity. So, and that's what we try to share amongst ourselves. And with the pacifist riot, with the 4 agreements, with a little help from our friends, we can certainly start doing a lot better. So, ladies and gentlemen, this is the first half of the new era. Loutopia live on YouTube. Soon there'll be t-shirts and stuff to buy, I guess. Can we do that, Chris?
Not with my money.
Oh, I got the money. I'll do it, baby. Well, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much. I'm Lou Angel Wolf. We're going to take a little break, and we'll be back in just a little bit with Beth Snyder. And thank you for listening and now watching Loutopia.